these are the top 25 2 versus 1 fights in the movies. In at number 25 is a face that's become a bit too familiar. Yeah, you can never have too much of Pedro Pascal despite all the suspicious memes that have been floating around him. Internet culture aside, this fight between Agent Whiskey and the duo of agents Gary and Harry was a sensational moment in Kingsman: The Golden Circle. I've got to admit, Whiskey is pretty darn talented if he's able to take on 2 Kingsman agents on his own. The shaky camera movements and intense stunts made it even better. Seriously though, Gary Eggsy jumping through the lasso while it was on is probably one of the coolest stunts I've seen in my life. I also love how in the middle of an ultimate secret agent fight, Harry gets smacked in the face with a frying pan. What's great about Whiskey as a character is that he fights like a highly skilled combatant, making use not of just his own weapons, but also picking up stuff like pans and random knives to throw as and when needed. Sure, the movie made him a traitor, but Jesus Christ. Maybe they could have given him a death scene that was a little less brutal than getting shredded to pieces. Up next is the big league, quite literally. Yep, we've got the giant monster Royal Rumble on our hands as Godzilla and King Kong team up to give us a hint at the sequel's title. Mecha Godzilla was a whole other beast, and I'm sure the king of the monsters would have had a hard time winning even if he wasn't drained or exhausted. However, our boy Kong was like, nobody's stealing the limelight in my movie, and went hammer and tongs at the AI monster. Or should I say hammer and axe? Anyway, the battle isn't that long when Godzilla and Kong unite, but they give us enough action to warrant a spot on this list. The finisher blow was the absolute best, and I love how Kong's axe can absorb Godzilla's atomic breath to wreak havoc. Up next is a heavy battle from an otherwise fun movie. The landlord and landlady may have been aura farmers in their own right, but they should have known that the beast doesn't pay rent. I guess you could forgive them for not considering him as a final boss level threat, because who the heck wears an outfit like that? Especially if they're the main villain. Anyway, this fight is exactly what Kung Fu Hustle aims to be. It's over the top, flashy, and just straight up ridiculous. As a matter of fact, at the time of its release, you could say it was the closest we'd come to adapting anime into a good live action movie. There are some extra fighters who join towards the end, but the main battle remains amongst these 3. It was also a good way to get the audience accustomed to how overpowered the beast was. Also, here's a fun fact, the actor that plays the landlord was Bruce Lee's stunt double Yen Hua. Yeah, he was the one who did the famous backflip in Enter the Dragon.
Where's the needle? Didn't need it.
Alright, we got ourselves into premium territory now, and by that I'm referring to Liang Yang because his cameo surpassed the villain as well as the hero. Yeah, hunks like Henry Cavill and Tom Cruise weren't enough for his character, which was a pleasant surprise to everyone watching. I was like, whoa, isn't it too early in the movie to get the final boss? Like, this guy was so good that I was a bit disappointed when it got revealed that Ethan Hunt's main antagonist was actually August Walker. Yeah, sure, he's got that little shimmy he does with his biceps in this scene, but he gets absolutely violated right after, so our man ends up losing aura as a net result. But yeah, kudos to the talented Mr. Young for totally stealing the show with such peak moves. In at 21 is a movie I don't think I even expected to see on this list, to be honest. Then again, Scott is a bit too chivalrous, which is probably why he hilariously ends up as a kind of puppet in this cool fight scene. Ramona wanting to explore her options isn't a crime or anything, but perhaps she should have been a bit more careful in her choice of exes. Roxy sure looked like a crazy one, but it gave us one of the most hilarious 2 versus 1 fights of all time. I mean, Scott's not even a willing fighter because he doesn't want to hurt a woman.
I don't think I can hit a girl. They're soft. You don't have a choice.
Ramona literally controls his movements and forces him to fight Roxy, which is definitely an innovative way to defeat an opponent. I know she's not the lead, but Mae Whitman definitely understood the assignment. Yeah, she showed up and showed out to the fullest. Her character perfectly complements the absurd and hyper-stylized fight sequence, which is one of the reasons this movie has become such a cult classic despite its box office failure.
I drove battle, lazy.
Now we've got a pretty insane sequence directed by the one and only David Cronenberg. Yeah, even bathing isn't safe nowadays, but unlike his trademark body horror, Cronenberg channels his inner Clint Eastwood to give us a badass fight. Viggo Mortensen is very, very naked in this scene, and I'm shocked the clip even exists on YouTube, to be fair. But yeah, our man comes through after an intense and gory battle against two assassins. It feels pretty raw considering Nikolai only has his body, whereas the assassins have knives and stuff. Mortensen has said that this was difficult to shoot because in 99% of fight scenes, the person is clothed and has padding hidden underneath to soften the strikes, but here he had to do take after take in his birthday suit. By the end, his arms were bruised by the endless blows to the point where they turned purple. Ugh. But we can't deny how awesome and deadly the encounter was, so I suppose it was all worth it in the end.
You okay, man? Look, I'll get you another bong, all right?
It's my cat's birthday.
Get ready for some crazy in this next entry. Pineapple Express brings to you a mixture of funny and hateful as Mr. Red goes ham on Saul and Dale without any warning. Danny McBride sure has a knack for delivering awesome quotes, especially here as Mr. Red. But dude, what was up with him spitting in Saul's face? That too right after slapping him. That's got to be the most disrespectful double combo I've seen in a fight. This fight does qualify as a 2 versus 1 fight, although it's highly chaotic and funny. Red was totally a suspicious dude.
No! Where are you going? Where do you think you're going?
And he only made it worse by attacking the men who came to question him. Even so, it really looked like he was going to win until Saul landed a surprise attack from behind. There are so many highlights to choose from, but James Franco yelling "time out" as McBride flips him over gets me every single time. They really should start making movies like this one again.
God! Oh, fuck! Hey, take it! Time out!
Now let's have a big round of applause for the King of Monsters. I'm not sure we should be celebrating that much though, considering Godzilla puts an end to a romantic couple in this battle. The Mutos may not like Romeo and Juliet, but you've got to give it to the male dude because he was doing everything he could to protect his queen. Yeah, even Godzilla had a hard time with that flying obstacle, but we know what he's capable of, so it was only a matter of time before he emerged the victor. Even so, shout out to this short king for keeping our boy engaged as long as he did. With everything said, nothing can top the money shot of Godzilla blasting his atomic breath down the female Muto's throat. Savagery at its finest. In at number 17, Jackie Chan gets a lot of assistance, which isn't what we usually see from his fight scenes. Project A has a crazy final sequence, and while it starts off with a lot of people battling each other, it mostly boils down to Sergeant Dragon, Captain Su, and Faye taking on Law Sam Powell. That actually makes it 3 versus 1, but Faye just drops by in the beginning and is used as a decoy towards the end of the fight to end Sam Powell. In the middle of the sequence, it's mainly Jackie Chan and Yen Biao showing off their impeccable skills against Dick Wei. The choreography is on point as usual, but I still can't believe that they actually blew up the villain in the final act. Thank God they pulled Faye out at the right time, but wow, this makes Pedro Pascal's earlier death seem a lot more palatable. All All hail Optimus Prime as he makes his first appearance. His enemies are piling on one after another, and even though it's not technically a 2 versus 1 fight, our guy is mostly engaging with 2 Decepticons at the same time, so I guess it somehow qualifies. Look, I just wanted him here, so deal with it, okay? The forest battle doesn't end well for Optimus, but at least he showed us how much of a badass he could be, especially after getting nerfed in the first film. Taking out Grinder was an alpha move, but sadly, Megatron was the ultimate beta male to have attacked Optimus from the back. Meh. I can never get over him calling our boy weak when he was the one cowering behind his cult followers. Number 15 is an act of destroying family. Then again, Jet Li isn't Vin Diesel, so he doesn't care about the sanctity of such terms. He takes on the twins, played by Cyril Raffaelli and Didier Azoulay, and let's just say that having the numbers in their favour didn't help them out one bit. Li Jian isn't your average father, so you shouldn't be expecting standard results from him. Taunting the man was probably the biggest mistake off the bat, and Leo makes sure to let the twins know that there are consequences to their actions. This movie is more than 2 decades old, but it still holds up much better when compared to most fight scenes in the modern era. Also, I know the main battle is between Liu and the twins, but I have to point out that the elevator dude was done dirty. Come on, Jet Li. I'm sure there could have been a better way to incapacitate him. Giant monsters really have dominated this list, haven't they? Dinosaurs may be cool and all, but they got nothing on our boy Kong. The fight against the V-Rexes is yet again not technically 2 versus 1, but the third dude joined later, so I'm counting it as that, okay? Plus, who doesn't like to see a giant ape take down multiple dinosaurs with disrespect? It's not even like he was worried for himself here, he just had to ensure that his sweet Anne wouldn't get harmed in the process. Honestly, I don't know how she survived inside Kong's fist without getting crushed, but hey, this is the kind of plot armor I'm fine with, so it's cool. Also, when the effects are this good from 20 years ago, how can you question the scene's quality, eh? Alright, here's a special one at number 13. The ladies do it too, as we see Sue and Kong Yat Hung succeeding in defeating their final boss henchman, but not before an intense struggle. I've got to give it to the action choreographers here, because this is exactly how you shoot a girl boss fight scene. There's no undue over-accommodation by the male fighter, and it seems extremely legit in terms of believability. The sword sequences were great to watch, and the intensity maintained its consistency right until the very end. It was like John Woo meeting Quentin Tarantino, but credit should go to Corey Yen for giving us an absolute banger of a battle. I'm actually quite surprised that I haven't included this scene as often as I should. It's also got a massive nostalgia factor to it, but I guess not everyone's going to be able to relate to that. We've got an interesting set of weapons choices up next. Having said that, hammers and baseball bats don't stand a chance against a professional like Rama. First of all, who the heck named these characters? Hammer Girl and Baseball Batman sound like a couple of siblings with really lazy parents. There's nothing lazy about their fighting styles though, as they gave everything they had into trying to upstage Rama. Of course, it was never going to be enough, and their respective ends pretty much proved it. Sheesh, I'd never want to meet my maker this way. Hammer Girl was bad enough, but you could almost feel the final blow on Baseball Batman. The bat even sticks to his face, which is good detailing, but also quite brutal. Coming in hot is a battle of Kryptonians. Superman has some familiar visitors in Feora Ul and Namek, but sadly for him, they ain't the friendly kind.
And if history has proven anything,
Kal-El was never going to dominate this fight because he doesn't even have a fraction of the battle experience that these two bring, and that's perfectly fine, isn't it? What's even better is how good of a fight he gave them both, even though there's no outright winner at the end of all of this destruction. Plus, the soldiers came in and kind of ruined everything because Superman had to focus on keeping them safe rather than just fight the other two. That's fine though, because we still have the snap, right Zod? To kick off my top 10, we have an absolute banger. The Jurassic World producers score a rare W by giving the audience what they want. Imagine that, eh? The final battle was the best way to end the Jurassic Park reboot, and I honestly feel they should have stopped making more movies after this one. Anyway, the Indominus Rex against our favourite T-Rex and Velociraptor was an epic encounter that was just as captivating as it was nerve-wracking. With Rexy struggling at first, we all thought it was the end, but then Blue came in and changed the game. I can bet you that this scene alone would have gotten the movie at least another 50 million in repeat viewings. And yes, shout out to the Mosasaur for that last minute cameo. She totally deserved that meal. Coming in at number 9 is Antonio Banderas in full flow. A double duel is always fun, especially if you happen to be Zorro. His duel against Montero and Love kind of looked like the man was just having some fun, but he gave us some super serious skills while he was at it. It starts off as a 1v1 encounter against Love, but then Alejandro proves that numbers don't matter to him at all. Forget Montero or Love, there was a whole freaking army by the end of it, but our man still manages to reign supreme and even manages to activate some Riz on Elena while he's at it. This is what you call a total Chad, plus his lines were epic too. The part where he corrects Love, telling him that he's not debated but legendary, was indeed, as he puts it himself, legendary. Yes, this is aura farming at its finest. Let's hear it for Scott Adkins now. Yeah, Boyka is following Jet Li's footsteps here as he takes down a couple of brothers and in a much more aggressive manner. The Ozerov bros may have thought that they were all slick and coordinated, but they can never be him. Yeah, Boyka was taking their hits like a pro, and it almost seemed as if he was getting stronger with each attack too. The punch after the smackdown was one of many highlights from this scene, and it only furthered my love for Yuri Boyka as a character. That man can do no wrong, especially after winning a fight with a damaged leg.
I could do this all day.
Okay, this one is definitely personal. Iron Man got rage baited hard here by Zemo, but we can't blame him at all because this would have messed with anyone's head. I was totally rooting for Iron Man because Captain America was a horrible friend for not even letting him know about his suspicions. Like,
Do you even remember them? I remember all of them.
I get that you want to protect your bro, but come on, these are Tony's parents we're talking about here. You could see what triggered Iron Man with Steve's complicity in the whole situation. And I'm not complaining, as the resulting fight was peak, apart from how it ended. Yeah, I'm standing on business when I say that there is no universe where a couple of super soldiers can take down freaking Iron Man. The writers really took plot armor to a whole other level here.
He's my friend.
The Baba Yaga is in at number 6. Man, fan interactions are getting crazier by the day. Normally you'd be happy to meet your idols and ask for a photo or an autograph. However, when it comes to John Wick, his fans straight up try to end him. And they're pretty skilled assassins too. I mean, one of them is literally the assassin from the iconic kitchen fight in The Raid 2. As epic as the fight may have been, I found it a bit too wholesome in the sense that even while they're trying to slash their idol, these two fanboys were also complimenting him. Mr. Wick also did the right thing by leaving them alive so they could probably enjoy some eggs and sausages the next morning. The hero becomes the villain at number 5. Yes, Jet Li flips the script in Lethal Weapon 4 as he mostly makes a mockery of Mel Gibson and Danny Glover. Man, I wish I could have seen this in the theatre when it first came out. A lot of us hadn't even heard of Hong Kong cinema and had no idea who Jet Li was at this time. When he first jumped off that staircase earlier in the movie, and then this fight, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Even Riggs and his headbutts were crazy yet entertaining. Things did get ugly, but Koo still made an impact despite his death. I wasn't going to miss out Tony Jaa, so here he is. Basically, this is a group session that filters down to a 2 versus 1, so you can imagine how chaotic it got. Man, whoever designed the choreography did a really good job of merging Max Zhang's traditional kung fu with Tony Jaa's Muay Thai. Just look at the hand combos both guys are lashing out. This seriously makes 2 totally different fighting styles look super good in a battle scene, and that takes skill. The music is great too, and let's not forget Wu Jing, who's pretty cool in his capacity too. Next up is an extremely dangerous battle that should never be imitated. I ain't joking, okay? Please do not try this at home or on a rooftop. Now that I'm done with my public service announcement, let's enjoy this fight, shall we? The movie might be called Who Am I? But the answer is quite evidently a legend. Jackie Chan is the ultimate stunt performer, and his moves in this battle far surpass anything he's done, at least when it comes to 2 versus 1 encounters. It's not like he's even taken down a couple of NPCs. Ron Smorenberg was launching those kids with complete disdain, and let's not discredit Young Kwan either, who's a prominent stuntman himself. The rooftop battle is the perfect example of a Jackie Chan fight, as he struggles to face off against his opponents at first, but then manages to turn the tables once it becomes funny. Typical, isn't it? Number 2 is no pushover at all. That's right, we've got the OG Darth legend showing off his precision and tact against the 2 lead characters in the movie. The Star Wars prequel trilogy may have been a disappointment compared to the original movies, but considering whatever we've gotten from 2015 onwards, we can safely say that they're absolute cinema, aren't they? Darth Maul fighting Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn was a spectacular display of lightsaber dueling. There's so much to like about it, and even when the movie was panned upon release, everyone still favoured this particular sequence. We don't get a happy ending for Liam Neeson, but he had a daughter to save from Eastern European traffickers, so it made sense for him to have an early exit, didn't it? But yeah, I suppose the grass does seem greener now when all you get is mud. Yes, our top spot is very much deserved by the entry occupying it. After loads of violence and excessive damage, the Mad Dog had to be put down. Of course, this wasn't without incident, and that's more than just a reference to Christian Bale's Equilibrium. Mad Dog was an insane beast of a character because it required both Rama and Andy giving it their absolute best to take him out for good. Sure, Rama was already a bit tired from his earlier fights and Andy wasn't in the best condition either, but Mad Dog was freaking pristine in his moves and strikes, so I'm not using that as an excuse. He's a terrifying villain, and thank God the good guys were able to win, because I don't know how things would have ended if they didn't come through. Yeah, this is exactly why Asian cinema remains unparalleled in terms of action sequences. Hope you liked the video. Please subscribe to the TV region, and here's another video that I know you're going to enjoy.